going to replace my hard disk with the SSD. GB costed me 3,200 rupees. This is the caddy. I'll have to put my hard disk here so that this can serve my secondary storage disk. This is the same tool I'll use for the removal of the laptop. Black & Decker A7073. Here is my laptop. Pavilion B and O. Okay, the purpose of installing the Partition Wizard 10 freeware is to see if at all we can copy the hard disk partitions to the SSD once we add them by opening the laptop. So that is a precautionary measure I have installed initially, so that after copying to SSD I can just place the SSD in the area where hard disk was attached and keep the hard disk in the CD-ROM or the DVD-ROM area. We will open this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. To access the hard disk and the caddy CD drive, when the CD drive can be just pulled out. Okay, I'm using a small screwdriver which we normally use for watch and phones, mobile phones opening. So for laptop also the same one is used because the screws are of the smaller size. The tool, automated tool, the battery operated tool is not having that kind of bit. So I'm manually opening it. Battery, disk, CPU, fan and the memory 4 gig each. I'll have to fix this here. This way. To remove this and fix it here. The action what I do now is I am just adding the SSD into the caddy, and the caddy will be attached, and the partitions will be copied. That is what I am going to try. If the partition is copied, then we don't have to do the pain of reinstallation and all those stuff. So I'm doing that now. Let's see. Now we have to just start the wizard and try to copy the partition. The difficulties what I find here is I am unable to copy the partition because the primary partition or the single partition I have in that 500 GB hard disk is beyond the size of 240, because this is 500 GB hard disk, SATA hard disk, and used as booting, and it has got 4 partitions. One is a backup, another is a 100 GB 100 MB partition, and the other is Windows partition which is active, and any of these action I am unable to do because my SSD size is 240 GB. Had this been as a 500 GB SSD, then I could have done copy of exact partitions from the SATA to the SSD, and I could have just simply replace it. But now it seems I have to simply install it. There is no other option. Need to put this caddy, the SSD from the caddy to the real hard disk area. Now the SATA disk is connected, removed. SATA disk is removed and the SSD is connected in the same place. We have used the side rails and connected. The caddy should take the SATA disk now and put this in the CD-ROM or the DVD-ROM area so that it can go and be there as a secondary disk. Need not be, it can even boot from there, but I want my OS to be booted from the SSD, and this should be as my secondary storage disk. In case I need to boot from the CD-ROM area, the caddy where the SATA, my old disk is there, I can still boot. So this is the purpose, but our purpose is to make it faster boot and faster Windows. So the OS need to be installed, Windows 10 need to be again installed onto the SSD so that it is placed in the area of the SATA, the hard disk area, and the hard disk going to the CD-ROM or the DVD-ROM area where it is going to be connected. That is what is the whole exercise is all about. One, two, this side 2 and this side 2. We need to tight those those 4 screws so that this will not move, the hard disk will not come out. Now this is to go this way. You have to insert it here and you can start the laptop and place it here so that this screw I can tight over here. Now I have to remove the CD inside this DVD from this by powering on and the front bezel. To remove the front bezel and place it over here. I just fixed the bezel of the DVD drive, and I kept the DVD drive as it is, so this can be used for any such requirement as an external drive, but I need the bezel every time I need this DVD drive. Probably I'll have to press here to open it, and still it can work. This is the switch, on off switch. I have to just press so that it can eject. Now this is ready. This is a caddy. I put my 500 GB hard disk in this, so this can get in, and the cover is just need to be placed because the hard disk is already placed here, and I had just put this one also, the lock, so it can be locked over here. When we insert it, it's like this, You have to insert like this, and that's it. You have to press this cover so that it fits in, and it has to go everywhere. Now the caddy screw, I have to fix it first. That is the longest one. So this fits in. This fits as a DVD drive, but it is a hard disk. It's not a DVD drive anymore. Let me fix these screws. Here I want to update all of you that I had installed Windows onto the SSD separately, and that is where the Windows disk is booting and the login is different. My name at the outlook.com, and the booting is so fast. You can see that. Too fast. So I could not copy because of the size difference. The SSD is smaller than the 500 GB. Thank you guys. I thank all of you for your patience, because I had taken this video after my office hours, in the early morning hours, like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. So I have taken in 2 days time. The SSD installation happened in the very next day. You see the replacement of the SSD and the hard disk caddy replacement. Before that itself, I had installed the Windows onto my SSD flash drive, solid state drive. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Let me open the Outlook. that fast. I need to activate MS Office. I'll use another CD drive, external, then I can do it. It's very easy. It's my touch screen, so that you can use this as a tab or you can use it as a laptop. So I'm using sometimes my touch screen, or sometimes use my mouse. So with whatever is comfortable, I'm using that way. All right, this is done. Start up and shut down. We will see how fast it is. That's it. Let's shut down. This is what I wanted to test it. It's done.